Welcome back to Virtual Reality. My name is Thomas and you're watching VoodooDE VR. Today we will talk about something I'm worried about little bit in VR, because there are not many really cool room scale games. And I mean room scale games without teleportation and without smooth locomotion. Just walk around in your play area. I have an example, Eye of the Temple, and we will talk about that in this video. Thank you to my sponsors, VoodooDE VR, Opperman Events, Virtual Escape, Slim Beats and JSocks. Let's have some fun with the video and let's go.
VoodooDE.
Okay guys, and here we are. And the question in this video is, why are there not many more room scale like games, like Eye of the Temple? So this here is a good example, and here's a really cool report of Road to VR about this game, how that works. So the game is, you are in your play area, for example 2 by 2 meters or something, and you will never do artificial movement like teleport or smooth locomotion. Never, because the game recognizes where you are and where the boundaries of your play area are. So this works with something like a grid. You see, for example, here, the first step was not correct. So the game would be wrong when you just step forward, then go with the moving platform, and then one step forward here. You see that? And then you would be outside of your play area and run against the real wall. So just go one step right, and then move the platform, and then go to the other side again, and then you are still in your play area. And that's something that the game has to keep in mind with this grid. Look at this 3 by 3 grid here. And the game also all the time makes sure that you are still in your play area. And so the player doesn't even recognize that he's only playing in this small area. He thinks, oh, I'm in this huge temple and I'm moving all the time. It feels like infinite walking. And this is so cool. Eye of the Temple is really one of the games that I have the most fun with, because this is what VR should feel, in my opinion. The total immersion, movement, and puzzles and all the stuff without artificial movement. That's so cool. And for example, you see the moving platforms with this white areas here on the edges. These edges tells the game the player should definitely not move beyond this white lines. So the game makes sure the first thing is with some hints. Don't attempt to jump over gaps or something. Or the game is creating a fence or so. Look at this here. Here, there the fence appears. And that keeps the player in mind that he shouldn't walk above the fence, because there is the play area at the end of the play area. So it's just to, without the player noticing that he's inside the VR or in a real area, the game makes sure that the player is still in the immersion just by placing a fence there. So the player thinks, okay, there's a fence, of course I cannot go there. But in real life, the game prevents the player from running into a real wall. And that's really, it's a science. It's just so great. And when you check out everything here, even when the player doesn't step in the perfect area, the game makes sure that the platform moves to the right direction by aligning it a little bit so the player doesn't notice that. And that's really cool. So if you didn't play the game, you should really do it, Eye of the Temple. But there are also some other games, but not much. Not many games that use the same technology. So here is, for example, Eye of the Temple. That's what we talk about. But there's also, for example, T for God. And this is something with robots. It's a roguelike action game. And this game is also without artificial movement. There's about something about elevators and moving stuff and so on, so that you never use artificial intelligence. And that's something, this is so cool. You can download a demo here for the game, for example. And here they tell us something about other games. For example, Job Simulator is also pretty cool because the area of the game is just your real play space. For example, in the kitchen is just as big as your real play area. So you will never experience artificial movement. And of course, that never causes motion sickness. That's very important. But there's, for example, also something like the Room VR, where you also walk in the space, but then you can teleport to the next area. But there's already the artificial movement. But here for T for God and Eye of the Temple, there's no artificial movement, and that's so cool. And now that the question is from me to the developers, why are there not many more of these kind of games? Because they are so good. Just try to create a mixed reality capture like this here. You've seen that perhaps in my videos, and it looks so good. You can use the tool Live on Steam to create mixed reality capture of this game, and it looks so good. Just record a small clip of 30 seconds and send it to your friends. They will be blasted. It looks so good. And this is why I don't understand, why are the developers not creating many more of these games? Is it very hard to create, or is it not successful? That's my question to the developers. I would really see more kind of games like that, because it's so immersive to walk in your play area, to dodge some stuff, to stand on moving platforms, to use some levers for puzzles or anything. It's just so cool. And of course, the question to the community, do you also like this kind of games? Or do you just want to stand there and shoot waves of enemies? That's the question I have. Of course, there are also games that only make sense seated. For example, flight simulators or racing simulators or something. That's, of course, you should never play that while walking around. But for these kind of games, it's so immersive and it's so cool. And I really ask the question, why are there not many more room scale games like this? Tell me and write it in the comments below. I hope you liked this small video. Give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and see you next time in virtual reality. See ya!
VoodooDE